Good evening, everyone. Here we are. It is, of course, the Fruit Nut News on, of course, the 15th today, 15th of the 8th, 2026. Well, happy birthday to me, as they say in the trade. And thank you muchly for all of your birthday wishes. Much appreciated. Quick hello to everybody tonight. Let's have a quick look who's in. We've got Sheila Douglas is in, Pam Keenum all the way from America, Shy's in, Lisa Steele's in, Jill's in, Shaz is in, Looney Lena's in, Brenda Harris is in, Mark Facass is in, Teresa Klopp's joining us, Kath Myers, Jackie J, and I'm sure there will be more others as we move forward. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the 15th of August, 2026. Yes, it's been a while since it's been a while now that I've been on the planet, and we certainly have seen some very incredible things happening. And I think that the best is yet to come. I think there's going to be a few surprises along the way. I certainly didn't come here to lose, and I certainly didn't come here to go away and leave a planet in such an absolute fucking mess. An absolute mess. Yes, very interesting. There is so much stuff going on around the world that it is, of course, very difficult to keep up with stuff. And, of course, you can interpret this in different ways. I think that there's probably 5 or 6 stories to each maybe individual headline that we find. Jason's just pointed out that I've started early. Good evening, Jason. How are you doing? Hope you're all okay. Anyway, yes. Apparently, the USS Lincoln is under some serious situations. I don't know. Apparently, horrendous stuff going off on board. People jumping over ships. Apparently, 7 black men are dead during a fight. It wasn't in the night, by the way. Apparently people jumping off ship, food is no good, etc., etc. The ship itself, I think, apparently has been deployed on deployment for 250 days, which, when you consider that you're supposed to be in port about every 40 to 50 days, unfortunately, it is, of course, a wartime scenario. And so I don't think the usual, the usual port visits sort of are relevant in regards to wartime. So apparently it's 300 days. 300 days. That's nearly, 65 days off of 1 year, which is absolutely incredible. So, of course, as you all know, Donald and the team are getting absolute flack over this. Apparently, another ship has been deployed to relieve the USS Lincoln. Apparently, we don't know. There's so much, there's so much misinformation. We just don't know. We just don't know. So, yeah, very, very interesting. So it will, of course, be interesting to see what happens. People, of course, are saying that Donald can't return troops, and it's going to be sunk in the open sea in order to create some form of a situation. It could be used as a false flag event on both sides. To be fair, so we have to take that into consideration when we're thinking about all of these things. Then, of course, we've had the what's his name? The scholar from the UK. well-known university. I'll remember it in a minute. And of course, Jason basically has taken his own life apparently on Friday. The lefties have come out and said that it was it was a forced suicide due to the fact that Jason was, of course, a black man, etc., etc. There's all kinds of stories about whether or not Jason was legitimate or not. So that's an interesting one. Just going back to the USS Lincoln, we have to, of course, remember how old the USS Lincoln is, and it's basically basically a pile of junk, to be honest. Out of service, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, we could get an insurance job there. Could be a rerun of the Titanic. Who knows? Anyway, it will be interesting, of course, to wait and see. Now, of course, going back to Jason, of course, we also have to take into consideration that Jason was should we say, an installed puppet put in to play a certain game. Unfortunately, Jason got caught, got above his station, whatever you want to call it. And of course, he was taken out, of course, by the powers that be. Now, it could be that with his colourful history and him being a very, should we say, monumental liar, it could be that was one of the reasons why he was picked for the role, so to speak, in regards to this job. Unfortunately, he got a little bit too cocky, and of course, the people that, of course, run him, or should we say, the people that are afraid that he's going to talk, of course, took him out a little bit early. Very interesting. Anyway, suicide or killed, entirely up to you what you want to decide. I've got a good idea, but anyway, we'll wait and see. Now, there is also a video coming about a woman. She apparently has a 250 bedroomed accommodation or property somewhere between Bristol and London. Very interesting. Apparently she received a hefty amount of money from, of course, the government to house these said people. And, of course, she's doing very well out of it. Unfortunately, it would seem that her conscience has got the better of her. And apparently she is telling this story, but the story doesn't make any sense. Now, clearly we're talking about migrants. Clearly we're talking about men. Clearly we're talking about a situation. Now, apparently the migrants settled in, and then apparently she was contacted late at night, out of the blue, by an unknown person that was delivering parcels to the hotel. Now, forgive me for laughing, but this first bit just threw me completely. So an unknown character phones up and said, there's going to be, some parcels delivered. Have you got a secure room? Very interesting. So the woman responds, yes. I don't know what she meant. My first question would, how secure are we talking? No, not this one. Very interesting. Anyway, a couple of hours later, 2 a.m. in the morning, apparently army personnel turned up. Yes, army personnel turned up and delivered metal boxes with numbers on and serial numbers, etc., and left them, of course, in the secure area. Very unusual, you might say. Okay. Then, of course, the army left, and she was told that she would be contacted with further details. This is where it gets a bit weird. So she decided that she was going to have a look what was in the boxes, and of course turns out to be AK-47s and apparently ammunition and apparently hand grenades. So that was very interesting in its own thing. So she decided then that she was going to move all of these weapons to a secure location in order that the migrants didn't get the weapons. Now, I don't know about you, okay, but a box full of army guns actually weighs quite a lot of sort of poundage, should we say, okay? And I would imagine that it would probably take 4 men probably to lift one of these boxes. So we're not talking, you can't chuck the box in the back of your fucking Mini and fuck off to the local lockup. Anyway, she apparently has moved all these boxes to a secret location and nobody knows where they are, okay? Now, I know that the British Army are stupid, okay? And I know that, there are some not very clever people in the high up positions of authority. However, I don't think that the British Army would be stupid enough to leave a load of weapons in an unsecured facility in regards to migrants, okay? And not only that, I don't think they would then allow the lady in question to move those guns to another secured location somewhere else. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're moving those weapons at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and you've got a boot full of AK-47s, the police would probably be a little bit interested in what you had in your boot, especially at that time in the morning, and especially with the amount of weapons that apparently were available. So this story alone brings up some very important questions, and also some very important, should we say, coincidences that don't seem to add up. And I always say, if something doesn't add up, then there's something a matter. Sometimes we can't always say what is actually wrong, but if something doesn't add up, there's definitely something not quite right. The Nicola Bulley case, for example, none of the Nicola Bulley case added up, okay? It didn't add up. Princess Diana, none of that added up. It didn't make any sense. The information didn't make any sense. 9/11 didn't make any sense. The official story didn't make any sense. And there's all kinds of, there's all kinds of little stories like this that don't make any sense. And if they don't make any sense, and I think that that's one of the reasons why myself and all of you lot have been put on the planet, because we seem to have this ability not only to join the dots, not only to smell a rat when we hear one or see one, but also we're able to somehow get to the bottom of what's actually going on. Now, let's also remember, ladies and gentlemen, that the governments and, of course, the military, as we know it already in the UK, and the police and the powers that be, etc., have already committed acts of treason against the UK and the citizens of the UK by allowing illegal immigrants, first of all, to come into the country. Secondly, they are harboring illegal immigrants. They are feeding them hotel, and only that, the police are protecting those migrants. Remember, they have not been, nobody, nobody knows the history, and yet these people have been 5-star with in mind, we have assumed, okay, the UK government and the UK authorities, including the Border Force and LR, are now part of the biggest people smuggling and human trafficking ring on, of course, the planet. It's a very interesting time, a very, very interesting time. And then, of course, we have to really look at the the way that the government is addressing the problem. The government seem to be more interested in wildfires. They seem to be more interested in portable barbecues. They seem to be more interested in the price of cheese. And, of course, the lack of cream in the country, as opposed to the security of the UK. Now, the security services and the security forces will, of course, tell you day after day after day after day that, of course, Russia, China, Korea are going to invade us at any moment in time. They are once again reiterating this threat, using the proxy country called Ukraine. Israel are doing their best to stir up anti-Semitism in regards to Lebanon and Gaza, etc., etc., etc. And this is clearly just one big shit show. It's, of course, one big shit show. However, we have to also factor into the fact that there are also good forces that are working against these people and against the bad forces. It's my belief, and I may be wrong, it's my belief that the good guys have already taken charge. We can see evidence of this over the last few years. We can see the evidence of. Let's just quickly have a quick go back. Let's go back to the George Bush funeral. The envelopes that were delivered to members of George Bush's congregation. Remember the white envelopes? Remember the fact that Hillary Clinton was arrested and bundled into a Black Maria after one of the 9/11 concerts. Remember that Donald Trump did a complete and utter world tour, an unknown thing. He went to Russia, he went to China, he went to every part of the world that you can think of. Because remember that the bad gang, of course, are not just, they're not just sort of resounding in Britain. No, these people are all over the world. It's a massive cult. And, of course, as you well know, we can't tell the people. I mean, we tried to tell the people during COVID, but they were having none of it. And we tried to tell them about the dangers of the vaccine. We tried to tell them about the ridiculousness of all the COVID restrictions, etc., etc., etc. And they were having none of it. And yet now it would appear that, of course, we were right all along. Not that we like saying that, because we don't. And one of the most telling things that we've got is Dr. Fauci, who was one of the leading instigators of the worldwide scamdemic, is basically now in sort of congressional hearing, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, he is claiming the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is the right to silence. And I think he's been asked somewhere in the region of over 200 questions, and each question he refers it back to the Fifth Amendment. Okay, sorry, Jason, 111 times apparently, which is quite apt. 111. Now remember, sometimes I don't get the figures completely right, but we're not too far off. But you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So Anthony Fauci, of course, being one of the worldwide instigators, of course, of the information and, of course, the protocols that were used in nursing homes, etc., 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 by the NHS, in regards to the lockdown in the country, etc., etc., etc. And of course, this guy is now completely and utterly silent, because he knows that if he opens his mouth, he knows that not only is he going to incriminate himself, but of course he's going to incriminate someone else. So it has to be now, from what it looks like to me, it has to be now that the evidence will have to be presented to some kind of a military tribunal or court, or whatever you want to call it, when the military come in, and Anthony Fauci will, of course, be hung by the neck. Don't forget that back in the 1980s as well, Anthony Fauci introduced the AIDS virus into the culture of course, the world. Let's also remember as now that it's also being reported that the experiments that were done by Anthony Fauci and his team included the use of aborted baby fetal cells, okay, sewn onto the back of mice, all kinds of horrendous shit that probably half of it we don't even know about. But yeah, so it's all coming out. And of course, we try to tell people, but of course, as we well know, of course, nobody's listening. But of course, they will start listening. Okay, they will start listening, and a lot of people are actually paying attention now. But a lot of people are still remaining quiet. So just those people are listening, but they're still remaining quiet. So, yeah, keep your eye on everything. Now, Labour, of course, coming out, of course, and lambasting Nigel Farage, okay, and this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. So Labour come out calling Nigel Farage over the Clacton by-election or whatever, whatever happened. This is at 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning. Ridiculous. Okay. Now, obviously calling out Farage and what Farage has done and the 5 million. We know about the 5 million. Unfortunately, nobody's really talking about what the Labour corruption. Nobody's talking about the Conservative corruption, etc., etc. That's been going on for years and years and years and years and years. And of course, I did tell you that, of course, the political system is going to crash as we know it, and we are not going to have a political system as we see it now. Okay, it's all going to change, and we're going to have those ambassadors. Okay, we're going to have ambassadors of Poland, ambassadors of the UK, ambassadors of, it doesn't matter, but these people are going to represent the UK. They're going to speak for the UK. They're going to talk for the UK. We're going to do deals, and we're going to get on with people and wars and all that shit. That's all going to go out the way. Now, remember that 80% of wars are created by, of course, propaganda that is, of course, produced by, of course, the propaganda people, which, of course, is the very people that, of course, are wanting to create the wars. And, of course, we see this once again with the British. Now, this was quite an interesting one. So the British now have committed to support the Lebanese army in regards to their offensive or defensive against Israel. Okay, now I want you to think about this. Okay, this is quite interesting. So remember that the UK is fundamentally run by London and, of course, the Fabian Society, made up, of course, of Labour candidates and Conservative candidates as well. And, of course, here they are. So Israel is, of course, attacking Lebanon. And, of course, what's happening here? The British are stepping in to support the Lebanese army in order to defend against Israel. And hey-ho, ring-a-ding, we have another war on our hands. And, of course, as you all know, the Americans are in there somewhere. They always are. And, of course, this, of course, happened in World War II. So during World War II, of course, as you well know, or you should well know by now, the Americans, through a guy called Henry Ford, of the Ford Motor Company, what did he do? He supported the Germans with their mechanical and ammunition infrastructure in order to keep the war going. Now, under wartime treaty, it doesn't say that companies like Henry Ford, an American company, can stop trading with the enemy, which is absolutely ridiculous. So here we have an American company, a very large American company, supplying weapons to not only kill English people and French people and German people, but to kill their own American people and to keep the war going. It's said, and I don't know whether this is true or not, it's said that if the Americans had stopped supplying the Germans, the war would have been over within around about 7 days. So that's actually quite an interesting one to remember. So as you well know, the Zionists or the mafia or however the bad gang, they always fund both sides. They get both sides falling out, and they are your typical instigators. So if you watch any type of a riot or public disorder, you will always see the instigators, okay, who start off the fight, and then, of course, they will run, okay, and start off somewhere else, because this is what they do. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. What else have we got? What else? I'm just having a quick look here. Oh, of course, we had Farage Fest. I think that was yesterday or the day before. That was the Nigel Farage celebration. And, of course, the mainstream media were once again absolutely lambasting it. calling it a circus, etc., etc. And to me, all it was a celebration. I mean, there was music, there was a bar, there was, beer, barbecues, there was a fire pit, apparently. There was some circus clowns. Brilliant. But once again, as I say, just another day, another thing. But of course, mainstream media absolutely on it like a car bonnet. And Andy Burnham, of course, still going on about vertical drinking. Now, apparently, they're going to stop vertical drinking. Apparently at bars across the UK. How the hell they're going to do this? I got no idea. I mean, are you going to get like a ticket, an on the spot fine for standing up with a pint of Guinness in your hand? Fucking crazy, absolute crazy. And the most important thing, of course, to remember is that no mention of stopping the boats, no mention of checking the illegals, no mention of of doing anything about the paedophiles, no mention of tackling the prison situation. None of that at all. None of that at all. All very peripheral bullshit to, of course, distract most people. But the problem that they've got now, of course, is that most people are waking up, and most people are really, really seeing the lies and the bullshit that, of course, is taking place. Remember, we had no smoking in bars. All brought in for the sake of health and safety, etc., etc., etc. Really interesting, really interesting. Financial situation all over the world is teetering on the edge. I think it's teetering on the edge. I've got a little bit of money outstanding for my mortgage. It's a couple of £100 on the mortgage, and the people that have been calling me have sort of been calling me. Maybe once every 2-3 months. They're now calling me once every 2 or 3 days. You need to get this money paid. You need to get this money paid. And I'm like, yeah. So somebody's desperate somewhere along the line. We've got all kinds of new charities have all of a sudden popped up. Save a beaver. I mean, I've saved plenty of beavers in my time. What else? Save a cockerel. Yeah, all them ones. And then, some really ridiculous ones that you keep your eye out, you'll see them. They're all done under the same banner. It's normally the World Health Organization, normally. Then, of course, there's the online one with the Derby postcode in the UK. It's never changed for about 45 years. I'd love to find out where that postcode actually is. Of course, we've got the Bretton Woods situation. As we well know, I told you yesterday that gold is basically gold is not worthless, but the paper that has been produced to back up gold is. So now we've got lots and lots of bits. To briefly cut it down, we've got lots and lots and lots of bits of paper floating around the world that are supposed to represent a gold bar. Okay, and unfortunately, we've probably got, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 million bits of paper for 1 bar of gold. The only problem with this is that if any one of those people want to get a bar of gold, there isn't, of course, the gold. Oh, excuse me. There isn't, of course, the gold there to supply, and so it's a bit like the banking system at the moment. The banking system at the moment will guarantee people around about 50 grand, even if they've got quite a big portfolio of estate. And so if the banks go bankrupt, okay, you're only really entitled to about 50 grand. Okay. Unfortunately, I would imagine that's dwindling at a very, very fast rate. Another thing that financial shit's happening is that I had a very surprise pension popped up from years ago. And when I asked for a valuation, a transfer valuation on the pension, 6 months ago it was 50 grand. A couple of weeks ago it was 22. So I said to the company, "Hey, where's this 30 grand gone then? Tell me where the 30 grand's gone." Silence, like fucking tumbleweed. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Not really much more to report. Lots of happenings. We did go through it all yesterday with the, with the gematria. Everybody, of course, was looking up to the eclipse, which watched the sky, or should we say, watch the water, because, of course, there is water above our heads. Anyway, let's wait and see what happens. Right, I'm going to get myself off. Thank you for all of your wishes, etc., etc. Much appreciated. I've just really, to be honest, I've really just had a relaxed day. I haven't actually done a lot apart from just, I've done quite a bit of sleeping actually, catching up, nothing really special. But apart from that, I'm not really bothered. Every day is a special day to me. We'll take it from there. Anyway, love you loads. We'll see you again soon. See you soon. Cheers, bye.